Hi, I'm Maya Zimmerman, or Fantastic Fox. I was a game dev. You can see videos where I talk about being a game dev on YouTube. But I've been dealing with possibly tendinitis, possibly arthritis, possibly carpal tunnel. I have to go in for some tests. Hopefully soon. But I can't really use my hands. Normally, well, I can't really type with my hands. I have been painting. I took up painting because of Bubsy. That's because of Bubsy I started painting, and also because of living where I do and seeing a painting and being inspired. I want to talk about game dev. Normally, when I make a video, I take my time and I plan things out. I would write up what I'm going to say, but I can't really write out things to plan. I guess I could be using a speech-to-text program and slowly editing it. I thought it might be nice to just do this, where I just talk about stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about game dev. That's the plan. I've been making games for about 7 years now. Right? Yeah, a little over 7 years. I don't know. I think the main thing that I've come to appreciate about making games is enjoying making them more than enjoying having made them. I talked about that in the System Erasure Discord. Somebody posted a tier list that had having made games way high up and making games way low down. And I said, I think it's the other way around. I think once I've made something, I get like postpartum depression about it. Like it's the fun isn't there. And it's funny, I watched a video about painting and about art. I get a lot of art videos recommended to me on YouTube now because I started looking into color theory and like art stuff to start painting. This video was called Art is Fun, and it was about focusing on, it was about two monkeys who started painting, and one of them said that they like to climb trees for fun, and the whole thing was like a metaphor for mindfulness and being in the moment when you're creating art. And I think that really is true for game dev as well. I think being in the moment, that debugging and making physics happen and like making a game, I think that's the good stuff. I think that's when it's like, that's when it's at its best, is the process, not the having made something. You know, I'm doing a thing this weekend. I'm going to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I have a friend who passed away a couple of years ago who also went to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and she also had a Sokoban there, so I feel like I'm kind of treading familiar territory. So that's nice. My game is doing pretty well. I think I do want to talk a little bit about success and financial success in game dev. Over the past 7 years, I've made over 20 games. Most of them are very, very small. I made a full-length shmup. It's about 15 minutes long to play through, but it took me 9 months to make, pretty early in my game dev career. I spent 2020 to 2021 mostly working on that, and it got very negative feedback, merciless feedback. And it was really tough. You know, I almost gave up video games because of that. It really negatively affected me mentally. And I think everyone needs to just chill out a little bit about the criticism. Like, you know, if you've got a moral qualm with something, with a piece of art, because you think that it says something that you strongly disagree with, I think that's one thing. But if you think that it's just not very good art, I don't think you need to say it. I don't think you need to. You're not helping someone when you're like, this is what's wrong, it's this sucks, this sucks. I don't think you're helping. I really don't. And I mean, if your intent is to hurt people, then I guess, you know, go ahead. But if you think that your criticism is going to help, like, soften the blow at least, highlight the good and the bad, you know, just chill out a little bit. And that's, you know, Sylvie wrote that essay, the designer's heart laid bare. That really, oh my gosh, that really put things in perspective for me about good and bad games and ways that art can be more than just good or bad. It can be interesting and fun in ways that are counter to rules that people have about good game design. That there's all these rules built up, and it gets you kind of being a bit of a video game conservative, game design conservative. It's from Sylvie Lime, and I really appreciate that. I think that's a good. I think that's a good perspective, and it really freed me to feel good about my art for it being what I wanted to do, regardless of whether people had some issue with it or whatever. It was very freeing, and I highly recommend reading that. For anyone, definitely if you're a game dev, I would recommend reading it. But like if you're a game critic, maybe consider reading the designer's heart laid bare. Financial success. So that game that was critically panned by all kinds of people. Most of them didn't leave negative reviews. It was private, but people had very mean things to say. And that game made $100 on Steam. And it cost $100 to list on Steam, so it essentially made nothing after 9 months of work, and pretty much resulting in me nearly quitting video games. So flash forward years and years and years, and I hadn't charged for anything since then. Until just recently, I released a new game that I'm going to be showing at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, So Go Fox. It's my proudest work. It's a few hours worth of content. I think you'd probably spend a few hours on it, like a couple hours maybe on it, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I haven't quite made that $100 yet that I made with Galactic Refugees, but I have made $94 on it, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And it's only been out for a month, 1 month, like to the day. It's been out for a month, and it's, very nearly surpassed something that I released in 2021 in sales. But, this is a wild success to me. I got thousands of page views, I think thousands of browser plays, at least hundreds of browser plays. I think over 1,000 at least. You know, it was on the front page of itch for a little bit, like the very, very front page. If you go to browse games, it was there up near the top. And that drove in a lot of traffic, but still, like, less than $100 for... Now, I didn't spend 9 months on this one. I spent 3 months on this one. So, less of a time investment, but also, like, I know what I'm doing now. 3 months now is me getting done more than I could get done in 9 months in 2020. Just because I know how to do what I want to do, and I am experienced in all facets of game development, you know. Back then it was music. I started as a musician. I was a musician for most of my adult life, and you know, I still do music. I did the music for Soko Fox. I do the music for most of my games. But you know, I've never really made money as an artist in any capacity. As a musician, as a video game developer, as a visual artist. Although I'm just really just getting started on visual art. I mean, I've been doing pixel art, like, pretty much when I started game dev. I also started working in pixel art. Because they kind of go hand in hand if you want to make your own games. If you want to make 2D games, you learn pixel art. If you want to make 3D games, you learn 3D modeling. You know, if you want to make your own games and you don't have money to pay people for the art aspects of it, you just have to make your own. You know, that's one thing I will say. Early in my game dev career, I applied for funding, and I didn't get it. Unsurprisingly, I was nobody, and I had no skills, really. Like, I thought I knew how to make a good game, and people did like what I was doing for some stuff. But yeah, I never got that funding, or any funding that I applied for, and it got me down for a little bit, to where I felt, well, I can't make games because I don't have money to pay people, and I can't get funding to pay people. And the thing that really changed it for me was applying to work on Deltarune. And I never heard back. Obviously, I didn't get it. But I applied to work on Deltarune as someone who does a little of everything. And in the listing for the job, Toby Fox said, if you do a little of everything, you're welcome to apply, but why not make your own games or something along those lines? And after enough time passed, I was like, why shouldn't I just make my own games? I do a little of everything, and I've worked with a lot of people, I've had a lot of help, especially with art. I've worked with musicians and artists of all kinds, pixel art and portrait art. I've worked with people who took creative lead positions on projects. I've done projects where I was just the artist. I've done projects where I was an editor, an audio and text editor for visual novels. I've done a lot of different things as a game dev. And I think that's like, if you just brute force want to get games made, that's like the way to do it, is just do a little of everything. Like, if you don't have art, make art. Make art anyway. Making art's great. It's the process, that's, it's not about making gorgeous pixel art so that your game's more marketable. It's about the process of creating pixel art, or like 3D models, or music, or whatever art you're making. It's about enjoying making it, because that's, you grow as an artist and you do get better, and the better you get, the better, the more people like what you're making. And I do, you don't need harsh criticism to get better. You don't need somebody telling you you suck at music to get better at music. You will get better at music by making music. The idea that harsh criticism is like this guiding force, this benevolent guiding force, it's, hurting you for your own good. No. If you do it, if you practice it, you will get better at it. I don't know. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I wrote this thing, and I never did anything with it, and I kind of don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to call people out, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube about game dev. And there's this specific subset that's about genres, and they're very silly, and it takes things very, very seriously about marketing and fitting into the right market, and I just, it's very silly. Don't worry about what other people are buying or reviewing. You don't even know what they're buying. It's all this marketing stuff is based on reviews. You don't know if people bought it and loved it. You just know that they left reviews. Like, all those videos were like, don't make a platformer. Whatever you don't make a platformer. And then Silksong came out. So, I mean, you know, the big thing was like, well, there's Celeste, but, you know, you can't make a game as good as Celeste. You can make a game as good as Celeste. You're gonna have to work your ass off. Like, Celeste is such a good game. Oh, Celeste is so good. You know what else is good? Sure Shot. The SMW hack. That's like the exact right difficulty for me. I love that. That's so good. And I can't play it. I can't play Masterpiece, which has been pretty disappointing. There's been new SMW ROM hacks, and I can't play them. I can't play Silksong. I couldn't play Silent Hill F. There's all kinds of really good games right now, and I'm really limited in what I can play of them. It's a really exciting time for games, though. I can play My Card is Better Than Your Card. That's great. That's a good like one-handed, you know, mouse-only game. I can do lots of mouse-only stuff. And like, Ooh, I was able to play Ooh okay, because it's very limited. Like, not time sensitive for the most part. Most of it's pretty, like, lenient and easy. It's just solving puzzles. And, oh my gosh, Strange Jigsaws. Strange Jigsaws was so good. What a great year for games. And I can't play it now, but Super Puzzled Cat. I talk about Super Puzzled Cat on this channel all the time. But yeah, what a year for games. Absolutely, and just unbelievable. And I'm sitting here, like, barely able to play a fraction of the ones that I want to. But yeah. Is that it? Is that really it? I think that might be it. Oh, jeez Louise, I've been sitting here rambling and it's still less than half an hour. How do people come up with scripts for videos that are like 10 hours long? I don't get it. You got that much to say about anything? Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope maybe some of it was helpful, more helpful than, like, you suck. And if you do suck, that's awesome. Like, really. That's the process, you know. You're gonna get better. It's just a matter of time and effort. If you put in the time and effort, you'll get better. And, if you're considering game dev, but you haven't started yet, or anything, you know, if it's painting or music or game dev or all of the above or whatever, there's something you want to do, or like learning Japanese, like my friend keeps saying she wants to learn Japanese. Well, she's learned some Japanese, but she talks about learning more, and she always says that she wants to do it. And I always say, the time's gonna pass anyway, whether you do it or not. And that daunting task that you only see the end goal, it's the process. Okay? It's about the process. That end goal of like 10 years down the line being good at Japanese, or being a good game dev, or whatever is gonna take forever to do. Like, it's not just miserable work for 10 years and then you come out on the other side fully formed as this like beautiful flower of knowledge and skill. All that time in between, you're going to be experiencing things. You're going to be living the process. And that's the good stuff. That's what it's about, is the moment to moment, like growing and developing over time as an artist, or as, you know, a language speaker or a cook. Anything you want to do, take the time. Go as slow as you need, go as fast as you want. Just start. And again, yeah, if you suck, you're already like steps ahead of somebody else who hasn't started yet. So you're on your way. I think yeah. I think that's maybe it. Maybe that's all I want to say. I'm just gonna upload this like unedited. I'll put some music on it. I'll put some of my music on it. I'll put Pink on it. Pink 1 to 4. Alright. Thank you for tuning in. Or, you know, watching it on YouTube. Or wherever, if YouTube falls apart. Thank you for tuning in. And I will catch you later. Bye.